Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Rucci. It's been a little while since I've posted on YouTube, but I have so missed being on here. A few things have changed behind the scenes, including my new look, and I've just been so excited to get back onto YouTube and get chatting with you. I thought we'd ease back into things with a requested topic today. We are breaking down what to do when people hurt or betray us and how to navigate the feelings that come with situations like this. If you are someone that is generally trusting, leads with love, and often wears your heart on your sleeve, it is likely that you put your faith in people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But given the patterns that humans exhibit and just the way that we operate as a species, considering human error, it is not only possible, but it is likely that people will let us down along our path, and we will feel disappointed. We'll experience feelings of anger, sadness, betrayal, hurt, and how we navigate situations like this really affects how we come out on the other side. The situations, of course, can be nuanced, whether it's a falling out with an old friend or a disagreement with a partner or an issue in the workplace. And of course, depending on the situation, the emotions that we'll experience and the way that we handle them will change as well. But generally, feelings of anger, hurt, confusion are likely to arise, and they're very normal and almost expected to experience in a situation of turbulence. These emotions are natural, and they may even lead us to the temptation of seeking revenge or shutting down entirely, building up all this anxiety and frustration that we either expel or bottle up. A question that may come up either internally or externally is, were we too naive in these situations? We've paid better attention to the signs, or are these people just genuinely flat out bad individuals? It's really important to remember that trust is not a weakness. It is in fact a very noble virtue, and it is a sign of emotional intelligence. It is not a bad thing to put our faith and trust in people. However, we must remember that the way that we choose to conduct ourselves and the way that we choose to see the world as well is not necessarily congruent or aligned with the way that everyone else experiences reality or the way that they choose to live their lives either. We can only control our reactions and the way that we respond to the world and life happening around us. We cannot control what anyone else does, says, or thinks. All that we can control is what is in here and what is in here. And if we do try to have control over external circumstances, we'll very quickly realize that it is an uphill battle and is likely to lead to disappointment, frustration, and many other similar negative emotions. In cases like this, it's really important to understand the difference between self-reflection and self-blame. Self-reflection would lead us down the path of thinking about whether we paid attention to signs, if we noticed red flags, if we actually did anything about them or brushed them to the side and hoped the outcome would be different. Self-blame, on the other hand, is not productive and it is not helpful because it leads us to just vilify the situation further and either put ourselves down or put down the people in question, making the situation a lot more emotionally charged, leading us to think or maybe even act with our emotionality as opposed to our wise mind. In any situation that is less than ideal, it is important to look at the silver linings and the growth that could come out of it. The mindset that is worth entertaining here is seeing the lesson in the circumstance and not dwelling on the current situation, but rather understanding what you've learned and applying that to future situations. It's also very critical to understand time and place and just the overall fragility behind a situation. When is it worth confronting versus when is it worth walking away? Situations that I'd say are worth addressing, not necessarily in a confrontational way, but definitely in a straightforward head-on way, is if the person is important to you, if this relationship has valuable history that you would be very disappointed letting go of, and you'd rather prioritize working through this situation to understand the misunderstanding. In a situation where there is a chance to restore trust through honest and open communication, it is definitely worth addressing the issue at hand versus just walking away from it, because it is likely that through listening and patience and giving one another grace, you will be able to resolve the issue or at least find a solution that you can work towards. Cases where I think it's better to just walk away is if the negative emotions are just past the point of return and the situation has become so immensely sour for one or both parties that you know there's no coming back from it. If there's a case of gaslighting or refusing accountability and playing the blame game, you know for a fact that even in trying to address the situation or finding a resolution that works for both ends, the situation might just end up being a runaround that leaves you feeling even more upset than when you started. Some people deserve a conversation and others deserve distance. It is up to us to know the difference. Going back to the lessons that we learn from difficult situations like this, it's really, really important to know how all of these emotions and understandings and learnings and experiences affect our mental and our overall energy. Our mental peace can be very fragile, especially when it is so strongly affected by highly emotive situations like this. And going through less than ideal situations is very important because it allows us to see the things that we do not want to continue experiencing. However, we cannot let them affect our psyche mentality and our energy and our ego so deeply that we hold grudges and allow that to impact how we conduct ourselves moving forward. Forgiveness is something that is not for the other party involved, it is for you. It is allowing you the mental peace, sanity, and pure energy to conduct yourself from a place of love and continue moving with a positive vibration. Reconciliation doesn't have to come with forgiveness. It just allows yourself the peace of mind and calmness to understand that what happened has happened. It doesn't need to continue affecting your reality. It doesn't need to continue upsetting you. It's simply a learning to apply for future circumstances so you don't allow things to play out the same way. Lessons that can come out of situations like this are knowing the boundaries that you need to set and understanding how strongly you have to set them, or even just the fact that you have to set boundaries at all. Also, knowing how to manage your expectations is so important. Understanding that people conduct themselves in a way that is different from how you conduct yourself will help save you from so much disappointment, and it'll also help you understand who to trust, at what level to trust. Oftentimes emotions related to these situations are very heavy and hard to work through, and we cannot harbor them and hold them inside. It's so important to understand them and try to decode them, understand why we are experiencing what we're experiencing, as well as why the situation might have played out the way that it did. I've talked about these in a previous video, but journaling and talk therapy are two things that I find to be so helpful when it comes to just understanding the things that we are experiencing in a way that allows us to really reflect and look inward and almost look at the butterfly effect from where we started and how we ended up where we have. After understanding these circumstances and really seeing how they've erupted the way that they have, it allows us to recharge our energy and redirect it towards relationships or situations that lead to more growth, love, and other positive emotions that actually contribute to our well-being. Remember that you are not weak for leading with your heart and trusting others, but you are powerful for taking learnings from each situation and applying them to your life in the bigger picture. Let me know down below if you have any coping mechanisms when it comes to difficult situations with friends, family, loved ones, coworkers, and how you like to navigate things best. I'd love to chat with you in the comments, and I'm so happy to be back. Lots of great chats on the way, and if you do want to see anything specific, again, let me know down in the comments. If you want to keep up with me more on the day-to-day, this is my Instagram and TikTok handle, so I will see you there. But until next time, take care, stay safe, have a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon.